Hello. Today we will talk about the expansion of liability for foodborne illness, from negligence to breach of warranty. When we pick up a package of ground beef or a head of lettuce from the grocery store, we rarely think about legal protections behind that purchase. But over the past century, the law has evolved to protect consumers from something as invisible and dangerous as a foodborne pathogen.
Another county now in our area confirms a case of a foodborne parasite. So when it comes to foodborne illnesses, we know the big names, the food poisoning, E. coli, listeria, salmonella, kind of the Mount Rushmore of stomach bugs. You know the symptoms, and they aren't pretty. But there are plenty of other foodborne illnesses. Enter cyclospora. This is a parasitic infection that has popped up recently in our area. It spreads when food comes in contact with feces.
Under early English common law, the doctrine of caveat emptor, let the buyer beware, which meant injured consumers had few remedies. Only if a food seller acted carelessly, say by knowingly selling spoiled meat, could they be held liable. But proving that in court was hard. Unless you could prove gross negligence, you were on your own. But in 1852, the American case Thomas versus Winchester cracked that door open. A mislabeled poison sold as medicine caused serious harm. The court ruled the seller could be liable, even though the buyer wasn't the direct customer.
CBS 46 dishes out the dirty details on failing restaurant inspections every week.
During the past decade, we have encountered some nasty violations and some very intense confrontations. Only on CBS 46 tonight, our Adam Murphy takes a look at some of the worst.
With the punches while exposing Metro Atlanta's worst health violations.
You have to leave.
And by popular demand,
fake news.
This is the greatest hits of the Restaurant Report Card.
Are you serving this to people?
No. Sorry, sir, you can't come up for me.
Before 1916, you often couldn't sue a maker unless you bought something directly from them. But in McPherson versus Buick, a man hurt himself when a wooden wheel on his Buick car broke, even though he bought the car from a dealer, not Buick itself. The court ruled that manufacturers have a responsibility to make safe products, and can be sued by anyone injured by a defect, not just the person who bought it from them. After McPherson, the idea that companies must act carefully spread to food. When the Uniform Commercial Code came into effect in the 1950s and 60s, restaurants and stores were legally required to ensure the food they sold is safe and edible, even if there's no written contract. This is known as an implied warranty. You're basically guaranteed safe food just by buying it. In 1963, the California Supreme Court took a big leap forward in Greenman versus Uber Power Products. Greenman was hurt using a power tool called a shopsmith, which malfunctioned even though Uber Power Products had been careful. The court said, if a product is defective and hurts you, the manufacturer is responsible regardless of negligence. That's called strict liability. It means injured people don't need to prove the maker was careless, just that the product was dangerous.
They make a Canadian version of Fruit Loops that they undoubtedly produce in this country, in the US. They already make it, and they already have the formulation for it here. And they ship it up to Canada, and yet the one that they sell here has red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, blue 1, and BHT. All of those ingredients are not included in their international version of Fruit Loops. Why do they sell Americans the shittier, less safe version here? They've acknowledged that natural food colorings are less bright. Yeah. And when they're less bright, they're less attractive to children. Americans want the brighter cereal. That's
Today,
what they say.
we've got 3 legal ways to hold restaurants and food sellers accountable. Negligence, if they act carelessly and that carelessness causes you harm. Breach of warranty, by selling food, they automatically promise it's safe to eat. Strict liability, if the food is defective or dangerous, they're responsible, even if they weren't careless. On top of that, FDA rules and the Food Safety Modernization Act, FSMA, don't just encourage safety, they legally require it.
Good, Oscar. I found contamination in red zones, your glass freezer door has a hairline break in it, and I found black pellets behind the food containers and your water's only 105 degrees. Requirement is 110 because science tells us at that temperature, all dangerous organisms will die. That means in your water, some will live. And not just any germs, Oscar. Oh no, the badass ones. The ones that can swim in 105-degree temperature water and live to party on some child's French fries.
So what's the catch for businesses? Costs go up. They need insurance, safety plans, staff training, supplier checks, record systems, and potentially face fines or lost revenue from recalls. Smaller businesses feel the squeeze. They must meet the same rules as big operations, which can be financially and logistically challenging. But there's an upside. These rules push the whole food industry to be safer, reducing foodborne illnesses and hidden hazards. Checkmark bottom line. As a consumer, you're fully protected. You can sue for carelessness, broken safety promises, or even without proving fault, and even minor issues like tiny bones count. As a business, you must follow strict, documented safety steps or face legal and FDA actions. Across the board, these measures have made our food supply a lot safer, even if they've added extra work and cost, especially for small food businesses.